So in this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to make a very simple template. And when we're talking about templates, we're talking about trying to minimize the amount of drawing that we have to do if we can do that automatically. Now, a good way to demonstrate this is to show you here what we've got. There's a very simple title panel on our drawing here. You can just imagine here, that would be your drawing in this viewport. Okay, so viewport showing there, this could be a very simple model, could be a very basic house plan, something like a garage or whatever. But the most important thing I want to show you here is the way we set up a simple template, and in this case, a simple title block. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to go to a new drawing and click on new here. When you click on new, it will bring up a set of, or a list of templates that are already made up for you in AutoCAD. Now, in this case, we're going to choose ACAD ISO, and we're going to open that. Now, when we're making a title panel, we don't really need to work in our model space here. Some people do choose to start off in the model space and then switch over to the layout tab. I'm just going to go straight into the layout tab. And there you'll see a very simple representation of an A4 sheet of paper. And the idea is that we're going to do a title block. At the bottom of our A4 sheet here, in fact, what we're going to do is we're going to change this to an A3 paper size. Okay, so let's just do that now. If you go down to here where it says layout 1, if you right click on layout 1 and then go up to page setup manager, then you go to modify, and then for the sake of this particular tutorial, we're going to click on a printer plotter such as AutoCAD PDF high quality print. Okay, now what we want to do is we want to set up our paper size, and the best way to do that, I think, is to make it a full bleed print. In other words, you don't get this dotted line which defines the area in which you're going to print. So I'm going to make this an A3 full bleed print, ISO full bleed A3 420 by 297. So that's the size of an A3 sheet. I'm going to click on that, and then we'll leave the rest as it is just now, and we'll click OK. Now all you're doing is you're setting up the page layout here, and then close. So now you'll see that A4 sheet has now changed to an A3 sheet. Now, I could change, obviously, by clicking these grips and dragging them various places. I could change this viewport, which defines the area in which I'm going to see my model. But for now, I'm going to show you how you can create one from new. So just delete that just now. Okay, and that's just me deleting using my keyboard. So now you've got a nice blank sheet here. Okay, so you'll see now that you don't have any dotted line defining the area in which you can see your model. Okay, so let's just say I wanted to do a very simple model in here, and I just did something like a circle like that. Okay, and then I switched back to my layout 1 tab. Okay, now at the moment I'm in paper space, but I could just click on where it says paper here, and that would switch to my model mode. In fact, what I need to do first of all is I need to create a layout, a rectangular viewport layout. So if I click on layout here again, and you're already in layout by virtue of the fact that you're in the paper space here, you're in layout 1. But if you click on layout again, and then click on rectangular, you can drag a simple viewport out like this. Okay, and let's bring it down to about here on our page, because we want to leave the bottom part for our title block. Okay, so as I've said before, if you double click inside, you go into model space, or floating model space as it's called, and you'll see then that you can change just by clicking on top here. You can change how this the circle looks. Okay, and if it comes off the screen like that, and you wonder where your model has disappeared to, you can always click on top here. Okay, but we're not really going to be going into anything to do with model space just now. We're going to really focus on how we get this title panel made up. Okay, so let's just say we wanted to make a very simple title block here. We're going to stay in Paperspace. So we're going to go back to our Home tab, and we're going to create a very simple rectangle using this icon here. So I'm just going to make sure your object snap settings are on down here. Your object snap settings are activated. And then I'm going to drag out a simple rectangle like that. Okay. And remember now that we're not actually drawing a model, we're actually drawing onto the sheet of paper here. So let's just divide that up, because we want to create various sections so that we can put in some categories, like the title of the project, like the date, the scale, your name, of course, and so on. So let's just subdivide that in half. Okay, that's all I've done there. I've just divided that in half. And then let's say we're going to create a vertical line around about here. Okay, now you can divide that up in such a way that whatever you want it to look like, this can be divided up into various ways. I'm going to create another line across here, roughly halfway again. I don't want to be too particular just now. Let's just say it's about halfway there, and we're going to create a number of different titles here. Okay. So the first thing we want to do is we want to create a title, a text style. So we're going to go into Annotate, and then we're going to launch our text style manager with this little diagonal arrow here, and then you go into your dialog box and click on New, and let's just call this paper text 3. Now, when we talk about it being 3, it's really 3 millimeters on an A3 sheet. Okay, so click on OK, and then make your height 3 so that you're matching the 3 here with a height of 3 here. And then click Apply, and then Close. Now you could create another size of paper text. You could maybe create one that's maybe 5 millimeters just to make it a bit bigger. It's really up to yourself in that case. So I'm going to go to single line text, because now we're going to apply our text. You could choose multi-line text or single line text. I'm going to choose single line text, and I'm going to click somewhere around about here, and then again make sure that your ortho mode is activated so that you get a nice straight line to show the direction. Click again just to define that direction once more, and then in this case we're going to put in something like project. Okay, let's just make that all capitals. So project, and then enter, and enter a second time. Now, just for speed, I'm going to copy what it says here, project. Okay, so you've got to select what you're going to copy, and then after every selection, hit enter. And then I'm going to use this as my base point, just on this corner here, just so that I get that nicely underneath that previous that previous text. Okay, so what you can then do is you can just hover over that and then double click it again. And in this case, we're going to say title, and make again that uppercase, and enter again. Okay, now again here we're going to copy that text down again. So select that, and you'll see it kind of, when it's activated, it turns a kind of a light blue. Enter to confirm your selection, and then we're going to just copy that down a couple of blocks or boxes down, and then hit enter. Okay, so in this case, we'll make this one date. Enter. In this case, we'll make this one scale. Enter. And let's make this one the author. Okay, so drawn by, and then enter. Now, what I might do is I might show you how to put in a custom-made field, because that's what we're going to be talking about now. I'm going to be showing you how to create a field in here so that you don't have to keep going back into these particular boxes and then changing it, so that makes it nice and automatic for you. So first thing we want to do, you can see there that we've set this up as like just a simple drawing number one. What you want to do is you want to save your drawing as it is. Okay, so let's just save it as a drawing. And let's just call it, for now, let's just call it template draft. Okay, so template draft. And I'm going to save this on my desktop. Okay. Now, what you want to do is you want to use the properties of your particular drawing. And the way to do that is to go up to the big red A at the top left of your screen. You want to click on that and go down to Drawing Utilities. When you hover over Drawing Utilities, you can then move your mouse up to where it says Drawing Properties, and then it gives you a number of tabs. Okay, so general, summary. This is just the vital information about your particular drawing. Now here where it says title in the summary tab, I could put in something like, let's say I wanted to make this a drawing of a curb. Okay, so just type in curb drawing or curb detail perhaps. And then in the subject, let's associate the subject with the project. So I could say that this is template tutorial. Template tutorial. In your case, you could probably do the same, or you could call it something else. For author, this is what's going to be associated with my drawn by box. So I'm going to put in there J. Gill. Don't need to do anything else in there. And statistics you don't have to worry about just now, and custom, we might come back to that. So we're going to click OK. Okay, so now we've created some vital information about this particular project. And you could then draw a model of a curb detail in here. Okay, but the purpose of this exercise is to show you how to bring this towards a bespoke template. And then what you want to do is you want to go back to your Annotate tab, and then you can go to Single Line, and then start your text somewhere about here. Just give it a bit of a space. Click once, and then drag your mouse across, nice straight line, making sure your ortho down here is activated. Click again. And before you type in anything, I want you to right click in that particular box where the cursor is flashing, and then click on Insert Field. Now, when you click on fields, it gives you lots of different options to select vital information about your project. In this case, I'm going to click on this little arrow here, and I'm going to go into Document. And then you can see there that you've got author, comments, file name, subject, and so on. So in this case, let's make this let's make this subject. And when you click on subject, you'll see there it says template tutorial. Now you can vary the way the typeface is set. So we're just going to go for uppercase in this one, and click OK. And you'll see that it brings in that vital information, and then just hit enter just to finish that one off. Okay, same again. We're just going to go to, again, remember that we're in our annotate tab here. Click on single line again, and then just try and get that lined up with text above it. In fact, what you could do is you could even bring that down, but I'm just going to drag that one out again. And then the process is the same. You can right click, then insert field. And in this case, we could go to title. Now, title, I made this one Kerb Detail. Okay, I could easily have gone for maybe file name. So I could have selected file name and then gone to file name only. So if I call this a particular file, I would be able to select the file name and then just use that. But going back into where we were, I'm going to click on title, and I'm going to click OK, and then it just brings in your Kerb Detail for you. Okay, it means you don't have to keep it means you don't have to keep on redoing these particular bits of text. Going into date, again, single line again, and just going to try and get that lined up. It's a bit crude, but just to get the idea. And then click again. So then right click, go to insert field, and then in this case, we're going to click on the field category, and we're going to go to date and time. And in this case, we could select any of these. Let's go for 17th of October, 2021 or 21. Click OK for that, and it brings in that particular date. Now, scale is a bit different because it depends what scale you want to make this particular drawing. So let's say I was to do, let's say I was to go back to my model space, right? The black screen, if you like. Let's say I wanted to draw a plan of a garage, for example. Okay, I'm going to go back to the Home tab because I'm going to draw a very simple garage, and I'm going to make this something like 8,000 millimeters, which is 8 meters. So I'm going to type in 8000, and then I'm going to bring it down, and I'm going to make this 4,000 this way. Hitting enter to change direction all the time. Bring it across 8,000 again, enter to change direction, and then snap up to the start, and then enter to close that one off. So let's just imagine that's a very simple garage. Okay, going back to the layout tab again. Okay, you don't see it there because we haven't gone into our model space. Now you could click on this tab here at the bottom of your screen, and if you were to do that, it would go into model space. What I like to do is just double click inside this particular viewport. So I'm going to go and do that, double click. You still can't see the garage, but then if you click on top, it will bring that into view for you. Okay, just to make that a bit more clear, I'm going to take the grid off there down at the bottom of the screen. Okay, so there's your garage, and I'm going to set the garage scale to 1 to 100. Now, if you look where I'm pointing here, my viewport scale setting is down here. Now, it's better to be in model space to do this because you can see the viewport scale clearly here. If I click on this arrow here, it'll give me a number of different options to set the viewport scale, which means that you're scaling, or you're bringing the view of this in or out, further away or close to you. So I'm going to click 1 to 100, and that's what it would look like if it was on an A3 sheet at 1 to 100 scale. Okay. Now, what you want to do is you want to go back to Paperspace here. Now, you can do this either by double clicking into the gray area, or you could click on model again. I'm just going to double click outside, and that brings you back into Paperspace again. Now, the reason I'm doing that is because I'm going to select my viewport as an object. Okay, this viewport here, if you hover over it, you'll see there's a little kind of a display comes up and says viewport. So that's the object you're going to select. Okay, so let's just go into, and we're going to make it look as though we're going to actually type something in here. So I'm just going to go back into my annotate tab here. I'm going to go to single line text as we've done before. Click on single line again, and then just as we've done before, click there once and then click again, and to get that cursor flashing. Then you're going to right click as you've done before, insert field. And in this case, you're going to click on this field category again, and you're going to go down to objects. Click on object, and then there's a number of different options here. Going to click on object again. Okay, nothing comes up here, but if you go to this little icon here, it says select object. It's got a little kind of cross, a little square in the middle. Click on that, and then what you can do is select the viewport like this. Okay, so I've just got this little square and I've clicked onto the viewport. Right, now that I've done that, I'm going to click OK. And you'll see there that it changed the scale. Now, that's not really what I wanted to do, so I'm just going to go back again and do that properly. Okay, so I'm going to click on single line again. Right click, insert field. I'm going to go to the select object again. Click in there, and I want to change the units to this now. Okay, if you go down to standard scale here, okay, this will give you the actual scale of the viewport, and you'll see there's a little preview. It says 1 to 100, and I'm pretty happy with that. I'm going to click uppercase and then click OK. Okay, so just hit enter just to close that, right? And then last one is going to be drawn by. Same again, really. Go over to your single line creation of your text here, single line again. And then let's say we start out somewhere around here. Okay. Just give it a nice, good, strong direction. Drag your mouse over, click again, right click, insert field, and then go up to the document again. And as you've probably seen before, there's your author setting and my name in here. Obviously, yours is different. And then click OK, and it brings in your name. And then just hit enter for that. Okay, so that means that for this particular project, you've got a number of different settings there that will be very useful for you. Okay, in the next tutorial, I'm going to show you how to use attributes in a very similar fashion. But I'm just going to show you how, if I change the scale of this particular garage, if we want to call it that, double click inside, go down to here where you've got your 1 to 100 setting, change that to 1 to 50. Obviously makes it at 50 times less than full size this time. Nothing happens just yet. Then if I type in REA, which means regen all, you're regenerating the drawing. And then you'll see there that the scale will change automatically. Okay, I can now lock that just so that I don't change it again. And the final thing I'm going to do is I'm going to save this as a template. Okay, now before I saved it as a drawing, just to try and get things up and moving. So I'm going to go to the big red A at the top of the screen, or what I could also do is press Control and S, but just go down to Save As here, and instead of me saving it as a drawing, I'm going to save it as a drawing template. Actually, before I do that, I'm going to just delete this particular garage here so that we're left completely with a blank screen. And that's quite important, okay? Because you want to be able to use this for other drawings as well. So just going back to what I was saying, if you click on Save As, save the drawing as a template. Now make sure it's actually saved as a template. You can do that also by going to Files of Type and saving it as a .dwt file. Now you'll probably recognize this dialog box because it gives you all the different templates that you can work with. We're going to call this something along the lines of, let me see, we're going to call it Fields Template. Fields Template, or you can call it anything you want. You can call it even after your own name. Fields Template, and there we go, DWT, and then save. Okay, you can put in a little bit of a description here if you wanted to. Make sure it's in metric, of course, and then click OK. And that template is now saved. Wherever you've saved that, you can pick that up at any particular time and bring it into your drawing. Okay. Now, if I clicked on Layout 2 here, for example, I don't have that particular, I don't have the same title block as I have here. If I go into Layout 2, it's basically a blank screen with just a simple viewport in it. Okay. If I wanted to import that particular title block, yeah, you're probably right in thinking I could copy this and then just bring it into this particular layer tab. But there's another way to do that, and that's to right-click on where it says Layout 2, and then go up to where it says From Template, and then I could actually go and select the Fields template that I've just created, okay, and then Open, and then OK that again. Okay, and in actual fact, no, it actually changes to layer 3. But the point I'm trying to make is that you can import the template that you've created into your drawing at any time. So if I was in a fresh drawing and I wanted to use this particular type of title panel, or even the template itself, I would simply just right-click on any of these tabs and then import the template that I want to use. Okay, so let's just try that out again. I'm just going to close that. Okay, I'm going to close that, and then I'm just going to create a very simple drawing. Close that one. And let's say I've got a very simple drawing here that I want to work with. Okay. So I've created a drawing of a curb, and I want to use the template that I've just created. I can go right-click, From Template, Fields Template, click on Open. Just click OK in this case, and then you'll see there Layout 3 / Layout 1. Okay, don't worry about the name. The point is we've now imported the template you've just created. And then if I click on top here, fact, what I'll do is I'll unlock that. And I can then bring in to view the curve detail that I've just created. Okay, so let's say I wanted to change that to say 1 to 10. So that's 1 to 10. In fact, let's make it 1 to 5. Okay, and then REA to regenerate the drawing, and then there's my scale has just changed. Okay, so templates are very important, so that you're not always so that you're not always recreating this text here. Okay, you'll see here that the project has changed, but I could simply change that by going back in to the drawing utilities, going to drawing properties, and I could go to subject, and I could say change it to something like curve drawing. Okay, regen, REA for regen, and then that changes that. So that's the end of this tutorial, and in the next tutorial I'll show you how to use attributes, very similar way to what we've done, but just another way of looking at this. Okay, thank you.